Hey, it's Noah Cyrus. I just did an interview on the Zach Sang Show. We talked about my record, The Hardest Part, and I threw a lot of stuff at Zach. It was great. Check it out.
Hello, beautiful human. Thanks for joining us. That's Dan. That's Noah Cyrus, and I'm Zach. Let's go.
And this is Zach's flannel.
Yeah. We have no blanket, and
So nice.
You look outstanding.
Thank you so much.
And I haven't seen you in a second, and like the second I saw you and I saw your crew, I was like, I had to ask them what year an event that like you did an event at Urban Outfitters, and I was a part of it, and I really lost track of time in a really sick way.
Well, see, I'm having a hard time remembering, like, because Lonely must have come out. It came out after July?
That is,
And then
yeah.
and then the EP came out?
That is in 2019, right?
It says the end
Or
of everything
2020.
was out in 2020.
The end of everything was out in 2020. See, it's terrible. I don't know this, actually. But
I get it.
I think it all goes into like everything we'll kind of talk about later. But like that was a difficult time for me, those like years, and I think I have forgotten a lot of that time. But it's kind of spotty memory for me a bit. I don't know if that's like a mental blockage or that I'm doing like on purpose.
Yeah.
Or like really what that is. But like a lot of it's kind of spotty. I mean, I was also taking Xanax, which is a very forgetful drug.
Totally.
So like I'm that must have a lot to do with it. But I definitely like, for me, it's that seems like a complete lifetime ago, and I feel like a completely different person from even like in that moment. But
there's something really special in that, though, right? Like that that we as humans have that ability to evolve in a way that like we can change and grow to a point where who we used to be seems like such a distant memory, and truly like somebody else to a certain degree. What is it like to write about moments that you've tried to black out, or just through other means can't remember?
you know what? I haven't really found that an issue yet. I really kind of wrote a lot of the songs, speaking for this album, majority of them kind of during or before, like there's kind of a stretched out time period. Like I wrote the song Unfinished when I was 16, 15. Like, and then rewrote it as I like got older and experienced different things and like changed a lot of the lyrics. And so like I kind of wrote a lot in the moment and then a lot after. So I don't really have problems with memory about writing whenever it comes to writing.
So I want to get into like what writing means while you're going through everything else in terms of processing, but Unfinished, starting when you're so young, there had to be an active decision to hold that song, or it wasn't ready to release at that time.
It always felt way more mature than I was, because I also wrote it with much more mature people. I wrote it with Dan Wilson and Ilse Juber. And so I was in the room. I mean, also I was like 15, 16 years old in the room with so much, like at the time, much older people than me. So I was writing much more mature songs. And I think that's probably why my writing matured so quickly. I also grew up very quickly, and I was also very mature by a very young age. But like when we originally wrote Unfinished, I wrote 17 and I'm Still Afraid, and I wasn't even 17. So I was kind of writing this hypothetical situation, and I felt I didn't really want to put it out because it didn't connect to me enough yet. It was way beyond my years, and like I loved the story. And as I kind of made that story of my own, or found in reality, I made tweaks here and there and made it my real story now.
How much of that story that you put out in writing in a song actually came true years later?
All of it.
Is that scary?
It's so, I was talking about it the other day. Like, it felt like I kind of probably wrote that in for myself, for that to just happen to me inevitably or something.
You manifested in some way.
I completely manifested that happening to me. But I definitely have had that story. That story now goes with a certain someone, and it has its own memory to it. And that's exactly why I wanted to hold on to it. And it also felt like I wanted it to be a part of something special because it was special.
Did it all... that like gave me goosebumps. Like, was it all? Did it always have that meaning that it has today, or it took time for it to?
It took time. I wrote the song when I was, again, 15, 16. I remember my mom driving me to that session. So, like, I didn't have a license. And so when I was 19 and I lived something very extremely so to the T of what the song is about, I just did these little changes here and there. Well, the 19 and I'm still afraid, east and west, like there were just little things that had little tweaks, like little words, but not too much really changed. I always, even the structure of its original production has stayed the same. I always liked that original production. It seemed so classic. And I wanted it to feel like the Eagles. Even when I'm in rehearsal, I just love to like turn around to the band and be like, man, are we the Eagles? Because that would be my dream come true. But
sis, you hit on a real word there though with classic.
Thank you.
That's what this body of work is giving.
Thank you so much.
The hardest part is the album. It starts off with Standstill, and to talk about classics, sis, like, my gosh.
Oh my God. Thank you.
It's so good.
Thank you.
It's a sonic journey. But
Thank you.
Why do you start the album with that?
When I had written Standstill, I just knew that this would start my album. It was the first song. I had written a lot about myself, but a lot of it was centered around heartbreak. And I wanted to kind of shine light on me personally and who I love and where I come from and who I take after. And also I'm very similar to my dad. My dad inspired a lot of this record. It just seemed to sum up a lot of the record into one song and give you this kind of preview of what you're going to get throughout the rest of the album. I also felt as if I felt like people kind of with albums, you don't really get a lot of listeners that actually listen to your full record. Mm-hmm. But I do feel like what someone's going to do is click the first song on your album. And like, I knew I was saying something with this song, and I knew that I was telling something really real and personal, and I had something to say. I wanted people to listen. I didn't want it to just be a skip through on my album. And I also felt like my fans knew me, but they didn't know what I was really going through or what I was really dealing with on the inside. I had talked about my mental health, but I also felt, when I look back at that, I felt like I was being stronger than I really felt, or putting on I felt like I was needing a lot of the help that I was trying to give. And so, go ahead.
That's interesting, right?
Yeah.
Because there is something conscious and subconscious in that. Like, you know the help you need. What held you back from seeking what you knew was required to at least manage what was going on?
I mean, I think I was really afraid to feel the pains of life and dealing with life, and a lot of the things I needed to be okay with in myself and in my past, and I needed to comfort a lot of things that haven't been comforted. And I mean, avoiding that and numbing and silencing all of that out is so much better and more comfortable and easier than facing it head on.
Totally.
I had felt that pain for so long. I had found an escape, so I thought. And I was afraid. Afraid of changing that comfortability.
So what role is music playing through all of this? Are you writing as you're feeling and experiencing and really going through this journey?
All a bit of both. It was, there were a couple songs like Standstill, Loretta, and My Side of the Bed. But a lot of the songs were during, or like Unfinished Again, I said like was before. Yeah. But I mean, music to me is like my only outlet. Other than you and I were talking about therapy, but like I keep everything inside. It's hard for me to really like, it's not hard for me to speak what I'm thinking or how I feel. But it takes me a while to get it out, and it's also internal and trapped inside of me.
I get that.
Yeah, does that make sense?
100%. Where it's like, yeah, like no one's gonna hear it the way you hear it inside yourself. And like when you spend so much time with it and you ruminate on it, and it plays such a big role in it is your everyday existence. It is hard to get it out. I feel that in so many different areas of life, just like not communicating effectively.
Okay, yeah, we said we were gonna touch on.
Yeah, but do you?
You can't get it.
My text message. Yeah. Oh my God, you're really gonna what a transition! I like it.
Well, wait, because I.
You invited me yesterday.
But I'm not hurt.
No,
But I'm not bitter. Does it sound like I'm bitter?
No, but Zach has a problem where he never responds to anybody's text messages, and he gets called out for it all the time.
No, because I see them, and then it's so bad, and then they get overwhelming, and they go all the way down.
But I understand, and it's okay because I did the exact same thing. And I actually, when I had texted you that, I looked and I had missed a text from Zach. The last time he texted me. So you know what? I like that.
I'm so sorry.
We're both so similar. Actually,
no, we really fuck with each other very hard.
Are really similar people. So like and we both have a very strong love for Lisa Momberger.
Oh my God. The fact that she's gonna freak out if this makes it to the internet.
Yeah,
we do. I love Lisa.
Yeah, we both.
Who is that?
Lisa's. I mean, wow, you've never met Lisa. That's such a disappointment. I feel bad for you that you haven't met her.
Aren't you guys? Wait.
She's a good friend of mine.
Yeah. How have you never met Lisa?
Well, Dan okay. So here's the real tea.
Tell me the tea.
Lisa and I are good friends, but are Dan and I good friends?
Okay.
No, I mean, no. We are good. We're friends. We care about each other very much, but we don't hang out with each other socially.
Yeah, we spend 10 hours a day with each other here. Why would I want to see him when I leave?
Okay, did this start as a friendship?
Who the hell is Lisa Momager? We're not getting into that. You have a debut album.
All right.
Yeah, the hardest part, baby. There's this album. I don't want to assume, but it sounds like it's made purely for you.
Okay, it
is.
It is in a way. I mean, it wasn't, but. It is very it is extremely personal. I mean, the very first song on the record is titled Noah. Mm-hmm. So it is written directly about my personal story experience, and it's definitely autobiographical. Is it
biographical?
Biographical. What did I just say? Biographical. Autobiographical. Okay, we're not putting that in there. But I definitely like put so much into every song. Such like intimate experiences as well. And like pretty tough experiences and things that are pretty hard to look back at and a bit hard to listen to, like one song in particular with My Side of the Bed, like the just certain, which is my favorite song on the album, but it's definitely like a tough place to go back to.
What makes it your favorite?
That's tough. I spent, that song's just a complete, I mean the whole album's a labor of love completely. I just love the album through and through.
And you can hear it. Like the musicianship is superb. It's stupid. Like I listened to it this morning on my freaking car speakers, turned it all the way up. The layers, it is all live instruments, I'm assuming.
It is. Yeah, that was so important for me to create something because I was kind of headed that way with End of Everything. And
you always, I feel like a lot, like in my opinion, like you thrive around real musicians because you are a real musician.
Thank you. I feel like with this album in particular, I got to really discover my own musicianship for the very first time and like really get to find what that sounds like, and was the first time I felt really a part of that process. I've been in the room and I've been a part of that process, but in pop rooms I feel like I've experienced more like you're sitting in a room. In my earlier sessions, like pop sessions, I felt like you're in a room and a producer is like making something, and then once there's a track kind of ready, you're like, okay, you're listening to a loop, and then you're
top line or whatever.
Yeah, where I kind of like, I mean, I just like starting, like finding chords, everybody like together writing and like start to finish, like starting with nothing and ending with something. Like that's so I lost my train of thought. Sorry.
How do you pick collaborators when you're writing stuff that is so personal and you're going in such a vulnerable state? Like, do you go in with lyrics done, or are you going in blank slate just really ready to spill?
It depends on like the session, because the last 2 years I really haven't, I mean, I've written with a few people here and there other than PJ, but PJ and I have just really, PJ Harding, he's executive producer on my album as well. But just with our EP and my last EP and this new music and our next thing that we're going to do together, and we love making music together. We never want to stop making music together. So I've really found something special with him, and I've never thought I would have like a writing partner. Like we're like a little duo, but like we're a little duo, and it's so cute. And I love writing with him,
it works.
Or like writing songs and then sending it to him and seeing what he thinks, and then he'll shoot me an idea and I'll shoot him one back. And whether it's like him just saying like, oh, use or instead of and, I'll be like, oh, okay, that's great. And then I'm like, you know, that's the most he'll sometimes touch a song, you know what I mean, of mine. And or we'll just start and write together from scratch, you know. But I've found something so real with him that I haven't really found anywhere else. I love writing with PJ so much. He's so incredible.
At what point in the process are you bringing in other musicians and like really building out this sonicscape?
Mike and I had like rough demos of like the album. But like majority of them, let's see, like majority of like the guitar records that are just mostly acoustic and stuff like that, they were just like little voice memos when we started. So Mike and I would just do it by week. Each like player would come in and like record every song. So like we had like the bones of everything, but like we'd have harmonica week, we'd have strings week, we'd have banjo
so
week.
So you slowly build it out.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, and then we'd have drums week or whatever. Yeah, it was fun. The drums and pedal steel were my favorite bits to arrange on this record. Pedal steel is my favorite instrument of all time. It's just such a beautiful instrument. But doing the drums with Mike was so fun. My drummer Elias, who's played with me since I was 16 years old, who's so incredible, came and played on the record. And Mike and I are so fucking stupid. We're in the fucking like live room trying to air drum out what we want to Elias, and I am a fucking terrible drummer, and I'm just like, Elias, follow my arms in the air, like, and that's the song, the hardest part, the title track that we just had like a whole big time producing in the studio with Mike. It was great.
How exciting.
Yeah.
And also like
so fun.
Yeah.
It was so fun. I had the best time in my entire life making this album, and it really like I mean, meeting Mike and having him when I really needed someone and something and a friend and something good to work towards. Like it walked into my life at the perfect time, and it completely saved it. I truly believe that as well.
Saying that, how hard is it to craft a record like Mr. Percocet?
Writing? You mean the writing side or the?
I mean, yeah, like even to come with that idea. I mean, it starts with the pills.
Yeah, that's the pills aren't as that's Advil. Yeah. Yeah, it's like that's literally just an Advil bottle in Jason Evigan's studio. It's
did the job.
Yeah, I did the job. That's literally just Advil.
Whose idea was that? It really hooks you.
I mean, Jason's, mine, everybody. I didn't. I mean, we were using it as shakers. Like the shaker on there is the pills, are the pills as well. So then I think Jason just, tried it in the beginning. But that song also originally was like, I mean, starting in the room with Evigan was a much more, it wasn't like, it was the same structure and sound. The only thing that really we kind of added to the song was everything being played live, completely like new, like live drums or live sample sound. The like that beginning pedal steel, that was like a like sample of something before and like whatever. But
why is it important to get rid of the sample and put it with something real?
I don't know. This album is so organic and real and raw emotionally and lyrically that it didn't a fabricated like sound or something that was like just an unnaturally made sound didn't fit this record at all. It fit like other music for me in the past, and like will probably fit music of mine in the future, but for this one record I wanted everything to be real and raw and organic.
What was the most challenging part about it, making the whole thing?
The most challenging part about making the whole thing was probably the writing side, because it all did come from such a hurt place, that the writing side was definitely difficult. Again, it's a very peaceful outlet for me. It is so fucking cold in this studio.
So
oh my
sorry.
Fucking good God. Like freezing.
The studio's either way too cold or way too hot. There's no in between.
It like just came back on too because I was fine. It like hurts. It's so cold in here. Like,
I'm so sorry.
oh my God.
Jesus. I'm literally gonna go buy blankets.
And it, like those things
hand
I can
warmers?
rub together, hand warmers, like.
Like, I'm getting like New Jersey flashbacks at like the tubing mountain.
It's freezing. But yeah, very helpful, and again, it was very healing for me.
Well, it hurts before it gets better, right?
Yeah, exactly. Definitely.
Which song was the most challenging to write?
I would say My Side of the Bed. Just because I was so in love and in that relationship and just wanted it to work so bad. But I also was, I think I connect the two, like my addiction and that relationship, a bit. And I think like letting go of that also came with growing in my recovery, because I felt that the two were very related. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, as I, kind of got stronger in that process, I got stronger at being on my own. But I mean, there's still times that song really hurts, and thinking about it really hurts. It makes me really sad.
When you look back now, are you happy? Not happy, but glad that it ended? Can you see the positive in that relationship coming to a close?
Yes, I can.
Does this song, even though it still hurts, does it at least allow you to put a period or close a chapter?
Yeah, I'm definitely like, I think it's taken a bit harder for me this time, or a bit longer for me this time. But I am, and I see why we're not good together, and I see why it like two wrongs just don't make it right at all.
Do you think you're going to look at love differently?
Yeah, I'm definitely way more scared of it now.
It's kind of the word I wanted to use in my question, but like
I'm definitely like, yeah. I'm at a weird place with it right now, where I mean I'm by myself, and I'm glad being by myself. I'm fine being by myself. I'm
it
happy
looks amazing
being by
on
myself.
you, sister.
Thank you so much. I'm like I've had like a full year and a half to focus on me and my recovery and my music, and my music has never been better in my opinion, and I've never been better in my opinion. I have not felt this happy. And I didn't even really know that I was happy until like I had to like be told, and I like told this is what happiness is, like, because I'm like, am I supposed to expect something more? Like that's sometimes I don't want anything more. This is exactly, I'm so happy with my life. I'm happy that things are calm. I'm happy that things are normal, I also then like sometimes try to deny myself of the happiness, or like try to like correct myself when I think I'm happy, but I am genuinely happy, and I feel like I haven't been disconnected to who I really am since I was very young.
When did you decide that you needed to make a change or things weren't right?
It was a few months after my grandmother Loretta had passed away in 2020. I think it takes hitting complete rock bottom before anything can get better in some cases. I think it just takes that happening. And I found myself extremely alone and had pushed away a lot of people and had hurt a lot of people and had just so much self-hatred, and I wanted it to change. I also like for so long had wanted to not be alive anymore. And there was a specific moment that I kind of just thought to myself, if I don't get help now, you're going to kill yourself. Like, if you don't call right in this moment, you are going to kill yourself. So if you want to be alive, and like, then you need to call and get help. And I was really scared, and I noticed that I was scared, and I noticed that something inside me actually was sad about wanting to die, and knew that that was sad, and knew that that shouldn't be the case, and knew that I like could turn this around. Maybe is what I thought. Like, maybe things could get better. And so I just picked up the phone in that one specific moment. And it was very late at night, actually, and I called my psychiatrist, and I got the help that I needed, and I just got to let everything out and tell a lot of truth. And like, it felt good in that moment to like tell the truth and like be open and honest.
Now, you mentioned your grandmother in the beginning. How does she play into this? Because I know the last song on the album is Loretta's song, right?
Yes. I think losing my grandma really was the final breaking point, and I kind of, everything that I was struggling with multiplied following her death. I felt so guilty, and so like I had called more, but because of the pandemic, we weren't able to go into her building for months before her passing, because someone who lived in her building got sick, and they shut it down. So we couldn't get in, she couldn't get out. We would my mom would drive by the window and they would wave to each other, but I had never driven by the window and waved to her. Or I had called, but I didn't call as many times as I felt like I could have. There was just a lot of guilt surrounding that. I also, my mom's an only child, and my mom was adopted. She lost her dad at 19. And I knew my mom's biggest fear was losing her mom. My biggest fear is losing my mom. And I knew that when that day came, I would need to be there for her, the way she's been for me my entire life. And I wasn't. And I was very isolated and furthered myself from everybody else. And went deeper into my addiction and got worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. But I almost feel like it was something, I feel like the voice that I must have heard in my head at the time of telling me to get help at times must have come from her. Mm-hmm. I get a lot of signs from her all the time, and I just feel like I can feel her close a lot. And I also feel like I can feel already, I just recently lost my dad's mom August 12th this year.
I'm so sorry.
Thank you so much. She was so important to me and so funny, and so we were very, very similar, me and Mamaw. But like, I already feel like I can pick up on her, but with Loretta, I really felt this message from her that my mom needed me, and that there were people that loved me, and that I could save myself. And I don't know, I woke up and I called and I got help. And it was very fucking hard. and it's still fucking hard. But like I take it every single day, like day by day, and I, am now. That was December 2020, whenever I made that phone call. So
you should be incredibly proud of yourself.
thank you. I am really proud of myself, actually, and I never can say that ever about anything, and with this one thing, I am extremely proud.
That in this body of work,
thank you,
that is truly exceptional.
Thank you.
That is attached to a period of time in your life that is. I really do think that a lot of people are going to feel understood by the records on this album. Truly. And like, you're not alone. And it's at the top of this conversation, we were talking about telling people what they need to do, right? And not taking that advice. But the reality is, like, us having this discussion right now, the records that exist on this album, that's the good. Do you know what I mean? People are going to feel understood. And they go, you know how many people feel guilt the same way you feel guilt in regards to your grandma, Loretta? I mean, that is all the time in regards to so many family members. So thank you for sharing this.
Yeah.
Truthfully. Thank you.
Yeah.
Because there's
a
lot of good that's going to come from it.
Thank you.
This album in totality, we should listen top to bottom?
Yes.
Always listen top to bottom?
Once once you make that first listen, I guess it's up to you, but we put a lot of thought into like the sequencing of this album, and everything comes after, one song comes after another on purpose, and there's a purpose for everything on this album, including the places that they're put in. So I would very much appreciate a full listen through to the album. Yeah.
When you listen back to this album in a few years, where do you think your head will go?
I think this is such a timeless album that I think I'm going to be just as proud as this album in 10, 20, 30, 100 years as I am right now. I think I'll probably, who knows what will be happening in however many years you said and what I'll be dealing with at that time. But I'm sure I'm going to, look back and see so much growth from the, topics I'm talking about on this record and the things I went through on this record. And yeah.
The things you went through in life that are shared via these songs. Have you accepted the fact that one of the hardest periods in your life so far is attached to some of the most timeless music you've ever made?
Have I thought about it?
Have you?
Not in that way, but I think in a way that's really beautiful and something I would do. Like I just that's what I write about, is what I'm going through, and I feel like there's kind of no way around that for me. That's just how I write. That's, again, my outlet.
And in that, people are going to identify. You're going to help a lot of people.
I hope so. I
know it.
I wrote a letter to my fans for coming to my... See, now it's warm in here again.
It's a weird room.
I know. And this cat.
The cat's classic.
I'm always holding the cat.
The cat will keep you company.
Yeah. I wrote a letter to the fans for coming last night. I want more than, oh yeah, you wouldn't know. I should have brought you a lyric booklet because I was handing those out. You wouldn't know because you weren't there. You wouldn't know. You wouldn't know. You didn't come.
But what was in the letter?
Just that I hope my music can give them a friend and help them heal, because that's what music did for me, or does for me. And music is so healing. and I think it offers a friend to everybody. And so I hope that my music is that to somebody.
The hardest part is the album. Please listen to it. Listen top to bottom. Then you can plug out your favorites. Listen to it over and over again.
Yeah, top to bottom. You got to do that at least once. Why do people not do that anymore? Are we done with this? We're hanging up, right?
It is so disrespectful. Wait, what, us?
Yeah, is that what you were saying? Was that you wrapping it up?
No way.
I was literally just about to...
I thought that was you doing a wrap up.
No, but I do think it's disrespectful that people don't listen to full albums. I really do.
Well, the shuffle is taken off of
the
Spotify album.
That's right.
Because
you listen in order.
Miss Adele.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, Adele.
Thank you, Miss Adele.
What are you thinking over there, Daniel?
At what point during this album did you realize like the hardest part was what you're going to call it? Because I mean, I can't believe it's your debut album. I feel like we've interviewed you 100 times.
I know. I know.
Yeah. Also, why debut album? Why now? Like, how did you decide it was finally time for it?
I've always wanted the album to come out. I think there's just been so many different factors of why. Internally, team-wise, internally, personally, like just so much. But I mean, I found a team who was extremely passionate and driven to help me get this done, which was extremely important to the process, is having people who are genuinely passionate about the music and you and who you are and care about you. So that was number one. But I mean, the music and the identity was there. I found who I was. I found what I wanted to say. I matured enough to, and I'm actually so happy that it all turned out this way. I would not have it any other way. I'm so happy this is my first album. So proud of it. One of the most special times in my entire life was creating this record. So.
Are you hoping that now people see you like 100% for who you are and stop the comparisons or Noah's this or Noah that or where she came from or the family, and they're like, Noah is just Noah?
Yeah, I think now I just don't even care.
Yeah. I would assume at this point in your life, you're like...
That's the way it should be.
I saw you look up. At this point, I just don't really give a fuck what people think. If they listen, if they don't...
They're missing out.
It's not even that. I just you can't do that. You just can't be. I do it for I love writing songs. I love music, and so like.
And your music is phenomenal.
It's exceptional.
It's so fucking good.
Thank you so much.
It really is. Like one of my best friends loves you. She's like, Noah is incredible. I'm like, I just gets better and better and better and better.
Thank you.
So good.
Thank you.
Yes.
Like
Thanks.
Please listen to this album. Please, it deserves all your time. The hardest part. I mean, is there any pressure for it to have? I don't know. Like, what do you determine as success? Because your music has done pretty well.
It's getting cold again.
Keeping you on your toes here.
I know. It's a lot of hot and cold.
I gotta get that fixed.
Freezing.
Yeah, it's really fucked up. I'm really sorry.
It's coming back.
No, it's not good. That's not good. We don't like that.
I'm not putting any pressure on myself with what I want the album to do or how successful it has to be or what if it's connecting and I'm seeing it connecting and people are listening, and that's all I'm really thinking about. I'm not. I put too much pressure on myself in the past. I'm trying to kind of just keep it about the music as of now.
When you share this with your family, is it a way of apologizing or at least explaining? How do you see it? Like do you get what I'm saying? Because they were right, like something like Loretta's song. Like your mom was right there with you, right?
When I wrote Loretta's song, it was definitely a form of apology, I think. But also, no, I know that I never have to be sorry for any mistakes I made or anything of that kind with my family at all. I know that there's no judgment.
That's beautiful. and safe.
Extremely. And I mean,
did
with
you always
songs,
know that though?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when you feel alone and you're isolating yourself and you're depressed, I don't think it's because, I mean, for me, I never felt like that. But I mean, with songs like Stand Still, I mean, I think my dad hearing it was just so proud. I mean, we are so similar. And I mean, that's why, I mean, my dad and I have a lot of the same personality traits and mental similarities and how we think and how we feel, emotional similarities. We're very similar. So, you know, everything in Stand Still is so true. So I mean, my dad's so extremely proud of the record. I think he feels as if it's kind of an extension of him in a way, because it is.
Yeah,
honestly,
totally.
he inspired it so much. And so,
How special is that for you?
So special. I mean, I'm my dad's biggest fan, and I don't think I would be the artist I am. Like, I mean, I don't think I would have been an artist at all, probably, had my dad not been my dad. But I would say, like, I wouldn't have made this album or been inspired by the things I'm inspired by if it wasn't for him. And in a way, he's one of my main inspirations.
Do you sit down and listen with him, or do you just give it to him?
All the time. Well, because he'll be like, Sissy, play this one. Sissy, play that one. And he'll sit at the kitchen table and play it on his guitar. It's so cute.
That's...
Yeah. My dad and I, we may or may not have like a little thing together. So that's exciting too.
That's
Yeah.
the first time that's ever happened, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So my dad and I have been working on something really special that I'm excited to finally be able to talk about soon, which will be beautiful as well. I'm happy to have him a part of anything to do with this album, and he was such a huge inspiration for it. So to have him be a part of it in a way was like it had to happen, you know. So
what is that like? Are you not judgment, but like do you take his notes? If he has
he doesn't
them?
have any.
Sick. And he just pride.
Wait, I have to tell you his only note. Hold on.
Please.
All right. This is his only note whenever I send him songs. Smoking, turn it up and turn it loose.
That's awesome.
Made loud to be played loud. Yeah, that was the last song I sent him. Yeah, smoking. Turn it up and turn it loose.
He's an icon.
Yeah, he's hilarious. He's so fucking funny.
Did you make any of this album back in Nashville, or is it all in Los Angeles?
It was all in LA.
Okay.
I mean, I would leave Nashville for the song Stand Still and Hardest Part. I had like left Nashville and immediately had to write about it when I got home to LA. But yeah, no, I hadn't made any music in Nashville. I really want to make music in Nashville. Not like, I mean, I would love to work with people out there, but more meaning because I would love to work from home and have that environment around me. And of course, working with amazing people out there is such a plus, but in a way where I just like can lock myself at home. And I love when it rains in Nashville and it's like a warm rain. You know what I mean? But not like a super humid, but it's like kind of warm outside and it rains. Like, we did a lot of like, I have a 1-year-old nephew, so we did a lot of swimming this past trip.
But like, that's so special.
Yeah, but it was raining while we would swim, and it was really fun because it was like the warm rain. And but Bear, his name is Bear. He's 1 year old. He's amazing.
Yeah.
He's so cute. He's learning to walk, talk, run, face plants the floor like 5 times a day. Just gets right back up, keeps running, falls again, keeps running. That's how you like. When do we lose that?
You're right. Like that childhood wonder, but also like indestructible energy and force. But
they have no fear.
But that's like really special to be around because I think you acquire those elements from family and from children.
It's because they don't know that they can get hurt yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they have no idea.
They have no idea.
They have to get hurt to figure it out.
They have to, yeah.
Oof, that's rough.
Yeah.
You just wrote a song, my pal.
It's all yours. Is being Grammy nominated?
Oh God!
Change the way you make music at all?
I forget that I'm Grammy nominated. When you said that, it sounded so official. Like, oh my God. No, I think it almost did for a second. Not in a way where like I was almost gonna put pressure on myself, but like I just like my manager reminds me all the time like you can't make music for that reason. There's like, you know, if the songs connect and it ends up happening, that's amazing, but just like keep doing your work, keep making your authentic music, stay true to who you are. Nothing else really matters. It's great along the way, and it's something that like it's unbelievable that I am even sitting here talking about being a Grammy nominated artist, but I try. Again, it's with the pressure. I put so much pressure on myself for everything else that like music has never been pressure. I just don't want it to be that anymore. Good. Yeah, it was pressure for a little while. I feel like it felt like, to me for a minute, it felt a bit dreadful. Like, because I felt dreadful. I just felt a lot of dread waking up in the morning. And so it all felt very hard.
But like this album, I just thank you for one, utilizing it as a tool to get out of it, right? Or to help manage whatever
I
want to
hit you with this pillow.
Why? What
I don't
do?
know. I just wanted to like
do it.
Fucking whack.
Well, I don't want to like
do it. You won't. I don't give a shit.
There's a lot of stuff around. I can't do it while you're thinking.
No.
I wanted to do it while you were talking.
Should have fucking done it.
I really wanted to.
It's so funny.
I just wanted to like hit him in the face with this pillow.
You should have.
I'm gonna wait till you're not expecting it. Because now that I know I can, I was afraid I was like gonna knock something over.
No, break something. It's fine.
Break something.
Most of this shit doesn't work anyway.
It's true.
Yeah.
But seriously, no. The hardest part is such a beautiful album and a beautiful podcast.
Fucking great.
You miss me every time.
I know. Please do my water bottle. I miss you every time because I'm trying to avoid the microphone.
Hit that too.
He's gonna like. I hit the curtain.
The hardest part is the album, debut album. Listen to it. Amazon Music. Link in the description below to grab it on any DSP. What are you thinking? Final thoughts?
Yes, I have a few quick things. One, you said that Ready to Go was July's cousin song. Mm-hmm. How are they related?
I'd seen a lot of similarity lyrically, but also I saw a lot of growth in who I was as a person. It felt like the song had kind of flipped. Mm-hmm. The script, and I just came from a very much more confident place, but they both had a lot of similarities emotionally and lyrically. I said cousins because they were also about separate situations and hold entirely different meaning to me and have complete separation. Like I feel like I have little song compartments like everywhere. But I definitely wanted to kind of call back to July. I heard those similarities lyrically and emotionally, and yeah.
Cool.
But it wasn't until it was done and you were listening back that you realized?
There was kind of, you know, when I was writing it, whenever I started going with the so go, if you're ready to go, yeah, make your move, no, I won't follow. I was like sitting there with PJ, and and we kind of sometimes when we're writing, we'll like sing about in Percocet "Worst of Your Mistakes," or kind of that calls back to our EP, "The Worst of You." The song on "The Worst of You," or like little different things. So we'll find little similarities in different songs that like we could kind of Easter egg it.
But they start as subconscious?
No, I mean kind of subconscious, and then we discussed it a little bit, but not like where we like made it like this song will be a second July. It was very similar and guitar and
that's fucking cool.
Yeah, it was just it's kind of more nonchalant than like a whole deep meaning to it. It's more like, oh yeah, we sing "The Worst of You" and whatever, and I just sang "The Worst of Your Mistakes." That would be really cool. And you know, like July. Why can't I even think of those lyrics in July? What is July?
Google it.
July is go, go, go. I'll go. July if I'll go. Pack my bags. I'm singing the "Ready to Go" melody. I can't not.
What part of the song do you want me to remind you of?
The part that says the go part. That is related to "Ready to Go." July. I've been holding my breath. I've been counting to something over something. If
you want me to leave, then tell me to
leave, and baby,
I'll
I'll go. So yeah, and baby, I'll go. So this one was I'll go if you're ready to go. Yeah, make your move. No, I won't follow it. It's inevitable. No, whatever.
It's a universe.
Yeah, it's kind of it's just like a universe of
Noah Cyrus.
It's nothing too deep.
But listen to it.
You had something else?
Yes.
You keep trying to cut him off.
You said, I'm gonna run through these quick. You said that you were writing, had plans to write with one of One Direction's biggest writers. You said that in the L Song Association. Did you ever get to do that?
No.
It's a bummer.
I know.
Who was it? Ed Sheeran?
That would be really sick, huh?
Yeah.
I would love to work with Ed.
Rumor has it he watches our show.
Oh my God. Okay, then it has to happen because I would love to work with Ed Sheeran. It would be really sick. I would. How sick would it be to have Ed Sheeran on Loretta's song?
Ooh.
That's what I was thinking. Is like Ed Sheeran would sound beautiful on Loretta's song. I've thought that a couple times, but it's also very. Again, you said like this album is very like made for me.
Yes.
It's a very like specific, personal album. That like
it's yours.
I'm sure. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. I'm like.
Then how did? I'm not even gonna say his name because I don't remember. But the guy from
Ben Gibbard.
Death Cab for Cutie, he ended up on the album.
You know what? We were discussing features, and I was so set on a no feature album, and I was like, except if you have a contact and can get me to fucking meet Ben Gibbard and write a song with Ben, I am such a big fan. I would die to have him to be a part of this record. Like he was a huge inspiration lyrically. I'm such a huge fan of him as a songwriter and artist. And so he was a lot of inspiration. I mean, I just listened to a lot of their music and Ben's personal records as well, like his solo shit.
So do you go in with him and
also the Postal Service? I was listening to kind of all of his projects. Sorry, go ahead.
But will you go in with an idea for a song? Do you send him something finished? Do you go in with nothing?
I flew to Seattle and we wrote the song together in Seattle, and we recorded our vocals live together in a room. So Mike and Mike just looking at each other. It was such a cool experience as a fan. I've never experienced anything like it, so.
That's really sick.
Yeah. I kind of now know, like, I mean, I had felt being a fan before with like Ben Howard and Arctic Monkeys, but I had really gotten that like fan experience because I've never really been on that side of it before.
You got to listen to the hardest part.
Except for with One Direction and Justin Bieber. I was a super fan.
Yeah.
Well, we all
weren't we all?
Yeah, get in line. Yeah. I just want to say, like, you could have taken shortcuts on this album. You did not. All the sounds are real. You could have done that feature from a remote studio. You flew there to look this man in the eyes. Listen to this album. The hardest part. There's a link in the description below. You put time, care, love, and effort into this body of work because it is you. It is yours forever. Thank you for sharing it.
Thank you for having me.
So good.
Thank you.
Do you have any other questions?
Your Against the Wind cover was also phenomenal.
Oh my God. Wait, okay, because I haven't seen it.
Well, can we watch it together after
I would
this?
love to. And we have to do it in honor of my grandma, Mama, who just recently passed.
Oh, did you cover that for her?
I did. Well, you know what's interesting? I covered it before I went to go see her. That was like right before I went, and I got the audio of the performance sent to my phone, and I played it for her in the hospital. And she asked to have it put on her phone because Against the Wind was her favorite song the year it came out. I believe it was, you can correct me if I'm wrong, I want to say like 74 or 76.
This is like 1980, but this could be wrong.
80 maybe? She was saying like in the 70 area. No, 80.
Oh, 87. Is it 87? Listen, it's around there. I'm looking for it. Hold on.
Wait, really?
Against the Wind.
Against the Wind, Bob Seger. It says 1980.
Oh, it might be. It might have been.
Yeah,
80.
but that's not that far off from the 70s, sisters. Like that's like.
Well, if 87 is pretty far off from the 70s.
Yeah, but 19 is it 80 or 87?
April 1980.
Oh,
okay, yeah.
that's
She
the
wasn't far
70s.
off.
No, she was in
But she just was like, Billy Ray, do you remember when this song came out and we'd play it and we'd hear it on the radio and we'd turn it up, play it in the car. She had so many memories. She was feeling so bad that she just wanted to sleep all the time. But when she heard music, she really came to life. And that's another point to how much music is just so healing.
What was her reaction when you played her back your cover?
She loved it. She wanted to hear my version. I was like, okay, can we listen to Bob Seger now? No, I want to hear your version. But she loves that song, and she loved my cover. She thought it was so beautiful, and she loved the piano. She was a beautiful piano player. Organ too. She played incredibly. So yeah, she loved the piano, and I was saying, "That's you, Mama, on the piano," you know. So yeah, I haven't seen that yet, and it just recently came out, so I would love to see it.
So good.
Oh, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Music's so incredibly personal. I thank you again for sharing it.
You've wrapped this interview 3 times.
What else is new? This is the story of my life. I like it. I could talk to you for hours, and so could he.
Yeah, I mean, I
yeah?
could listen to you tell stories all day.
What did I say when I said autobiography?
I actually wrote it down in case we needed to take it out. Oh no, actually, my computer auto-corrected it to the correct word.
What did I say?
I
think I just like got all tongue twisted and like I don't even know what I said.
Well, we'll find out when we go back and watch
Yeah, we'll
it.
send you a clip that it's just that on repeat.
Yeah.
You doing it over and over again.
Great, that's awesome. That's great. Love you guys.
Please listen to the hardest part. No, Cyrus, love you. Thank you so much. You're the best.
I wish I had something to throw at you, but I don't. Now I actually have to throw this water bottle.